welcome to the After Hours of TC Restani, the podcast. I am your host, TC Restani, and I'm here with my esteemed panel of experts, and I'm going around the horn tonight. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Absenteeism, wasn't here on the last couple shows, Mr. Vinny Capelli, who, when I asked, why weren't you coming to the show, I'll tell you later.
I'll leave it at that. I'll tell you later.
He's going to tell you later?
I've been busy.
You've been busy?
I've been busy. I've been having to do things. We can discuss it later.
Okay, well, welcome back to the program.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Your fans out there missed you, and you have an addition on your skin, which we'll talk about in a little while. The one and the only, the living legend himself, Colonel Bull Montana, is down at the end of the podcast penthouse table. What's going on, Colonel?
Hey, guys. Good evening. Hello, fans out there.
Unbelievable. What's been going on, Colonel?
I just started volunteering at the Winter Senior Center.
Oh, yeah? Well, you are a senior citizen, so that's a good place for you.
Correct, I am, sir.
Unbelievable. And last but certainly not least, the greatest celebrity stalker of all time. And later on in the program, we'll talk about some of the people he has been stalking since the last show. South Boston Jeff.
Hey, what's going on, TC? I'm just hanging in there. You know me.
Always hanging in there. All right. We have to make mention of our last podcast, one of the most listened to podcasts we've ever had as we approach our 1-year anniversary of doing this podcast. Can you believe it's almost been a year? For those of you who listen to our last broadcast, and for those of you who haven't, you can always go on our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/AfterHoursTC and listen to the interview with one of the, if not the most bizarre celebrity stalkers of all time, our longtime close personal friend, the unique Mario.
You know, you sent me a message, and you were like, listen, you gotta listen to the podcast. Make sure you listen to immediately when it was, uploaded. All I gotta know is what was that? Because I think I lost brain cells by just listening to him.
Okay, Mario, who is listening to this program out here, we love you. We want you back on the program. Mario is a very unique individual. Jeff and I met Mario just about 20 years ago out at a place called Spooky World.
I know Spooky World.
Western Massachusetts. For those of you who don't know what Spooky World is, it's like a horror theme park that comes around every Halloween. And the guest of honor that night was Alice Cooper.
Yep.
And we happened to run into Mario in line for Alice Cooper, and we were immediately attracted to him because we like the strange and unusual, not here on the broadcast, but in our life in general. And when we met him, we were like, we have to know this guy. And we've known him for 20 years, and you pretty much heard everything on the last podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many restraining orders have been put out on Mario from celebrities out there, but you know what? I tip my hat to that because he is a God's honest celebrity stalker. He's not one who pretends to be one. He is one, damn it.
He has a thing for Bella Thorne, huh?
Who doesn't have a thing for Bella Thorne out there?
She got hairy legs.
She does?
She's into having body hair.
Really?
Yeah, it's very disgusting.
Well, Mario's probably into that, so good for Mario.
And TC, I'll have you know that I was on the phone with. I'm in touch with Mario. I was on the phone with him just Tuesday and everything. He was very excited when he listened to very excited when he listened to his own podcast and everything. He says he can't wait to come back on. I got all kinds of new songs that I want to sing to you, and he was. And I asked him, I was like, okay, the graveyard thing, you don't really do that. And he's like, well, what I like to do in my spare time these days is when TMZ comes on, I stand in front of the TV with my camera and I make believe I'm celebrity stalking. So that's how I spend my... I mean, everything that Mario says, everything that comes out of his mouth is just gold.
It is gold.
So, yeah, I just wanted to say, Mario has been stalking with us for just, whenever we go to New York and everything, and we're stalking the big names like Al Pacino, Mario will just show up and everything, just stumble down the street and everything.
In my opinion, Mario is a bigger name than some of the people he's been stalking. But you can always check that out in the archives. But this is the new episode here of After Hours with TC Restani, the podcast. Now, Jeff, you had you're wearing like Ray Charles glasses right now.
Oh, yeah.
You had an accident, so give us the full-on-one. What happened? Something blew up in your face?
Okay, I'll have you know that, celebrity stalking, I wish I could get paid full-time time bothering celebrities like Patrick Stewart, but unfortunately I don't. I do have a full-time job with the city of Boston. So I was at work and everything, filling up a tire and everything of a golf cart, and the hose got stuck in there, and it just exploded into my face and everything. I only have one good working eye, so all kinds of rubber and stuff flew up my nose and everything. So,
Up your nose with the rubber tire.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Barbarino.
It ain't the first thing
Thanks
that's up your nose.
not you, Capelli, Vinny Barbarino. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, it was enough to. I'm out of work and everything, and I'm pretty much totally blind going to be totally blind for a week.
Medical marijuana helping?
Oh, yeah, the medical marijuana right now. They got me on some Vicodin and the medical marijuana.
Look at Colonel drooling down at the end of the table down there for this Vicodin.
Colonel, close your mouth.
Unbelievable down there.
But, you know me. I haven't missed a podcast yet. I'm a trooper and everything. I mean, I can't see, but I can talk and everything, and I can't miss out and everything. Who else is going to shout out to all our fans like the Geek Force and Wendy Wickham and all the...
Well, it's Whitney Wickham. I don't know who Wendy Wickham is, but unbelievable. Well, it's a little shell shock over there. We'll let you slide on that. But speaking of Whitney Wickham out there, she's a huge Star Wars fan, just like you are, and Jeff, and of course Colonel Bill Montana. A lot of shakeups in the world of Star Wars recently, Vin. They fired those two jabronis who were directing the Han Solo movie.
They did.
And they hired one of the greatest directors of all time, Academy Award winner. It's definitely a happy day in that galaxy far, far away, as Ron Howard is now at the helm of the Millennium Falcon directing the Han Solo movie.
I don't know. I still don't know, man. I'm not sold on this movie. It's just something about it. It's just, to me, it's not Harrison Ford, so it's not Han Solo.
No, I have to agree with you. When they announced this movie a couple years ago, I said this movie is doomed from the beginning. And obviously, look what's happening. The two jabroni directors that they had on there wanted to make it into a comedy farce, whatever they were doing, and they were shown the door. They were put on ice, or as I like to say, they were put on carbonite. I'm not a big fan of dual directors in movies. A director should be, it's like an army, all right? You have one general, and he's telling you what to do and how this should be done. Two directors, they conflict with each other and whatnot, unless they're a brother combination, like the Farley brothers who do like the Dumb and Dumbers, or the Wachowski brothers that did the Matrix movies.
Right.
But after it goes to their head, like the Wachowski brothers, Matrix 2 and 3 were the worst pieces of junk I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Completely junk like that. Or the Duffer brothers, you know who they are? Those guys who directed and created Stranger Things.
Yes.
So,
well, there's the Zucker brothers too, who directed the Airplane movies and all those. But those are classics.
But if you're a brother combination, you probably think alike and whatnot, and you're not going to kill your brother unless you're Cain and Abel. But I'm just saying, when you're with a sibling, you can understand each other and forgive each other. You got two ham and eggers that are working off each other, who obviously shouldn't belong there anyway. I think they were too young to be at the helm of a Star Wars movie, in my opinion.
Sure.
I agreed, but there's also the thing where two brothers, two sisters, or if you have like a family thing, you're coming at it with a united front. You've already have a plan in mind before you're going. These two just work together. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just the whole duel thing, very rarely does it work well. As in The Matrix, worked great. 2 and 3 sucked.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Getting back to this, there's only one Han Solo. It's Harrison Ford. I understand. But you know what? Disney owns the property. I mean, everybody gave flack. Oh, they're going to do a prequel and they're going to have a young Obi-Wan Kenobi. But Ewan McGregor kind of made it his own movie. I mean, his own role. I mean, granted, he was 40 years younger than Alec Guinness, so there is a difference there. You can get away with that. But this movie takes place, I think, 10 years before
Rogue One.
Or A New Hope.
Yeah.
When the first time we saw Han Solo. And Han Solo was 35 in A New Hope. You don't change much between 25 and 35, all right?
And even if you think about it, as much as I love Han Solo, the character, I would rather have seen them do the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, because I want to see what happens to Obi-Wan in between New Hope, in between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope.
It ain't over yet, man.
Well,
but
years to come, in due time. That's what I think.
Well, the thing is, I still want to see a Boba Fett movie. That's what I'd rather have seen.
Everybody's talking about that, too.
I
think in due time for that one, too. I would love that myself.
Well, Boba Fett has kind of been tarnished, in my opinion. I love Boba Fett in The Empire Strikes Back, but we got to see him as a little punk kid in Episode 2, and then his demise in Return of the Jedi being digested by the Sarlacc pit.
But supposedly he did not die there and everything. Whether
Depends
we have
on
all
what
these
canon they go with.
script and everything. I'd
And
like
he wasn't
to
real.
believe-
He was just a little clone. That's all he was. He was a little punk kid. That's all I'm going to remember Boba Fett as, is the punk kid from Episode 2. Dad, Tom Witt is here. I mean, I would like to see. You know what I would like to see? If I had control of Disney right now, the standalone movie I would want to see is the young version of Yoda.
Either that or give me a standalone Darth Vader movie.
I would love to see that, where he's reflecting on what he's done in his life. You want to do it, obviously, between Sith and Rogue One.
I don't know if I want to do between Sith and Rogue One. I thought, look, we all know how badly he turns. I'd rather see it be done between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, because there is a complete turnaround. Oh, he's working on that 180. So he's going from being this, the Dark Lord of the Sith to being, I actually have a son.
And you could
changes?
And you could also bring in, if you want to do an emotional tie that way, he could visit Padme's grave.
Well, he does in the comics.
Oh, he does? I didn't know that. There's always that, momentary amnesia that I have that I don't remember these
Well,
things.
don't forget, too, that you also have to set up, there's got to be some type of, when he finally realizes, holy crap, okay, Luke is my son.
Mm-hmm.
I was also lied to by the person who I trusted, which was the Emperor.
Sure.
There has to be.
So I actually kind of agree with you. Between Sith and Rogue One, he was just a killing machine, a mercenary, a soulless person, had no meaning in life other than just to hurt people. Now like you're saying, between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, there's conflict going on.
Right.
Because, wait a minute, I have a son, I have been betrayed, like you said, by the Emperor. Who do I trust? Should I do this? Should I do that? That would have been, actually, that is a good point.
It would. Look, everyone loves Vader, the character. I think we all know somebody in here loves Vader.
All right. For those of you out there, if you're looking on our screen right now, watching us on our YouTube broadcast of this, there is Vinny Capelli's leg. Now, you are an aficionado of tattoos. You've had tattoos now for going on, 25 years?
Going on close to 25 years.
25 years. And I've known you for 30 years, so 25 years. But now you have added the Force to your leg. That's an awesome picture of Darth Vader there. Now, that's not going to be the last one you do of Star Wars, is it?
Nope. I'm doing what they call a calf sleeves.
Okay.
So I am doing, the next one will be Boba Fett with the Mandalorian symbol.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to do, after that, some tie-in with the Millennium Falcon, the Death Star, and maybe a TIE fighter.
Really?
Yep.
So the tractor beam scene in A New Home.
Potentially, yeah.
Unbelievable down there. I'm going to get Ray tattooed in a certain spot, but I'm not going to mention it down there. Unbelievable down there. So
all I want to say about the is I have full faith in Ron Howard as a director.
Yeah,
too.
I agree.
I have full faith too. Now this movie. Now here's the deal. They've already done 5 months of shooting. Does all that get flushed down the toilet? And Ron starts from scratch?
I can see what he'll knowing Ron Howard, he'll either do one of two things. He'll look at the footage and do reshoots of whatever footage he wants to reshoot in the certain areas, or they're going to flush it down the toilet, and you're going to see it delayed.
I wouldn't mind it being delayed to Christmas to get a true Ron Howard Star Wars movie. Because like he said recently, when he was announced as a director, he's been a diehard fan since day one. You got to remember who his idol was George Lucas. George Lucas gave him his first break in the major motion pictures.
Yes, American Graffiti.
Which also starred a young
Harrison Ford.
Okay, unbelievable down there. And, of course, he directed Willow for George Lucas.
Yes, he did.
So his connection with Lucasfilm and the Star Wars lore isn't new. I mean, it's been there for 40 years. And him or Spielberg would have been the perfect choice.
And might I add and everything that this isn't much, but Ron Howard's brother Clint is born to play an alien in a Star Wars movie.
Well, he was also, remember the little kid that was laughing in one of the original Star Trek
shows?
Yes,
of course, I remember that.
And not to get off the beaten path.
And you know what that does mean for a second. Sorry to interrupt, but Clint Howard is in every one of his brother's movies, so he's going to be in the Han Solo movie.
Was he in the How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
Of course he was.
Yes, he was the mayor's sidekick. He was the mayor.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So every single movie that Ron Howard has done since whatever, he's been in it. Clint Howard. It's a good luck piece.
So speaking of Star Wars and the late great Princess Leia,
right?
Reports have come out that she was more than intoxicated at the time of death.
You know, I say, let the princess rest in peace. We all know she's had
Yeah.
a drug problem since she was a teenager. I mean, it's no shock. Even when she did die, everybody knew why she died.
course.
I mean, but, you know.
I mean, the more you stir the crap, the more it stinks.
Well,
we
I was
want to
gonna say-
remember the princess as our princess.
What I was going to say was I loved, her brother's, comment to it. It's no clue that, Carrie did drugs. We all knew she did drugs.
Right. It's no,
Well, I love drugs. Who doesn't?
All right, it's no surprise because she used to do drugs with her old man,
Yeah.
Eddie Fisher, and one of her best friends was John Belushi.
Do you think her daughter will be in the next movie as well?
She is in
She's
she,
in.
She was in
she's
The Force
You
Awakens.
think they're gonna have her in the next
Yeah,
one?
she'll be in the next one. Yeah, she's
You
got.
know, can I make a comment on something?
Colonel
General?
Montana, you always can make a comment. The floor is yours.
Plus that she had the same thing I get as sleep apnea too.
That's right. She did.
had sleep apnea.
She did have
Yeah.
sleep apnea. Maybe she forgot her mask like the time I had a room with you in New Jersey. You can also find that out in the archives, and if you go back and listen to that, because we're not going to bring that up again. But yes, I have full faith in Ron Howard and the Han Solo movie out there. Unbelievable. May the Force be with you. When I first saw that, the first thing that came to mind was, help us, Opie-Wan Cunningham. You're our only hope.
Well, just little tidbit here. We are less than 6 months away
From
episode 8.
From episode 8, which we're going to have we'll talk about that as close as we get it. I'm not going to give any more spoilers out there. Unbelievable out there. We had, speaking of pop culture fandom out there, one of the true icons of icons passed away since our last podcast, and that is none other than Batman himself, Adam West.
The mayor of Quahog.
The mayor of Quahog as well. Now, Colonel Montana, you were the only one alive here on this panel in the 1960s. What's your take on the Batman show? Was it one of your favorites?
Yes, it was. But one of the best parts of Batman and Robin, I met them at the Heinz Auditorium.
Okay, Colonel, I think everybody down here has met Adam West and Burt Ward about 10,000 times. In fact, on the screen right now, our good friend Quincy, who is a diehard Batman fan, who was devastated when he found out that his idol passed away. Funny story. There he is on the screen right now. He's shaking Adam West's hand, or should I say, he's not letting go of Adam West's hand. This is about 10 years ago, and Quincy found out that he was going to be at a Comic-Con. We brought Quincy to meet him, and Quincy really believes Batman is real, and was quoting all the lines, and he was shaking Adam West's hand at the entire time, and he's like, and Adam West was like, "Crime fighter, can I have my hand back?" And he wouldn't let go, and the handler was like, "What do we do to let him go?" And he goes, "Take a picture with him," and he goes, "Don't worry, I have this. Crime fighter Quincy, here is an autograph photo from me, and let's take a photo." And that's how he got to get rid of Quincy, so he could get his hand back, a free autograph.
And he doesn't give free autographs to hardly anybody. Let me tell you
Not
that.
anymore, he won't. But unbelievable down there. So your favorite Batman episode there, Colonel Bull Montana.
And my favorite Batman story is there was also a gentleman that we met at.
I asked you what your favorite episode was.
My favorite episode is when he flew, when him and Burt Ward,
Robin.
they flew around the Batmobile in the ocean, and they caught I believe it was a shark or something like that.
Okay, is that the movie where some days
It's
you
the
just
movie.
can't get rid of a bomb?
It's Batman the movie.
Okay, so that's your favorite episode of the TV show was the Batman movie.
But back then they flew around in the Batcopter.
Okay, yeah, they have a Batcopter, a Bat Cycle, a Bat Boat, and the Batmobile, which I'm sure you can see at any one of these Comic-Cons out there. You know who owns a Batmobile?
Who?
Jerry the King Lawler.
An original Batmobile?
I don't know if it's an original.
Well,
I mean,
I'm saying like there's replicas that aren't essentially that, but there are people that make like
Yes.
pure.
He has a replica of the Batmobile that he
Nice.
actually drives around in
Nice.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Well, he's
I can
driving
picture the
around
thing.
in Batmobiles, and then here he is at the frickin' Comic-Con charging $50 for a photo. That clown.
It's Jerry the King. Well, no,
Jerry
he's not
Lawler?
the Joker.
Jerry,
Jerry Lawler. I thought yes.
no, Jeff.
Jerry Lawler. I thought you meant. I'm
Okay, go
sorry.
back to sleep there.
TC,
Jeff. What?
Can you tell me if Frank Gorshin?
No,
has-
Frank is dead. Frank is gone. We met Frank on Broadway many
And
years
Frank
ago.
was
He was the Riddler.
Yes.
Riddler.
He was the Riddler. See, I don't remember Batman that much. It was on in repeats when I was a kid. I wasn't really a big Batman
Now,
fan.
see,
I did.
I watched it.
I did enjoy Burgess Meredith as the
Penguin.
Yeah.
Penguin. He played it like everybody that was involved in that show was really great. All the actors, but I was just a kid when it came out. Honestly,
You weren't even alive when that came out.
Well, you got to think when we were kids,
Right.
it was on repeat, but it was it was like the best show from 20 years ago. And I'll tell you, it was on the same time every day, and I used to love
Same
watching
bat
Batman.
time, same bat
channel.
channel.
And I used and you
and you
knew
listened to them.
Yep, and you knew when you had Batgirl on it because the opening was different.
Oh, yes, right. And who was Batgirl?
Oh, I forget her name.
Lee Merriweather.
She had actually, I forget who it was.
Yvonne Craig or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Vaughn Craig.
I knew you would know that. How many
Craig,
how many batches have you mixed up to Batgirl down there?
So I read a good thing on Adam West.
Oh, really? What was that?
There wasn't a female character on the show that he didn't sleep with,
Really?
guest or otherwise.
Well, he is Batman out there.
Yeah, he definitely was the Batman.
Really?
He lived Bruce Wayne as much as he played it.
Unbelievable down there.
Well, you can't forget about the movies he did, like
Hooper.
Hooper,
right,
and
Hooper.
The Happy Hooker Goes to Washington. He starred in that.
What was your...
I actually brought that up to him and everything when I waited in line and everything just to bring that up, and he was like, "Oh, I haven't heard that one in a while. Good show, old man." And he just shook my hand, and I had to bring it up and everything. But
Of course you did.
The Happy Hooker Goes to Washington. Those movies are great.
What was your favorite episode?
Of Batman?
Yeah, do you have one?
They're all a mismatch because I really wasn't a huge fan of Batman.
See-
But speaking of Batman, you know what happened 28 years ago tonight?
The original Batman was released.
was-
Well, the original, but the
It
one
was
Michael Keaton.
the Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson Batman came out 28 years ago today, and it was the very first midnight movie I ever went to.
Really?
Yep,
Wow,
Unbelievable out there.
that was a great movie.
was-
Yeah, Nicholson did a great job. He made the Joker all his own and everything. I mean, either you like the new one, but I'm a classic fan of that Nicholson role.
I thought Michael Keaton did a great job playing both Bruce Wayne and it's hard to capture both characters because they're supposed to be two different. You're supposed to capture Bruce Wayne. I'm also a big giant Batman fan, as you know.
Mm-hmm. Where's the tattoo?
That's coming soon.
Okay,
too.
on the back.
No, that'll be somewhere. That's
On the
actually probably
chest?
going to the inside of the arm.
Okay.
But to capture the character of Bruce Wayne versus the character of Batman, I thought Michael Keaton did a great job for what they had. Because I actually just read an article. They were talking about Batman 2, the one with
Danny DeVito?
Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer. And Michelle Pfeiffer was talking about how she was devastated. She wasn't the original cast. They originally wanted the lady that's married to Annette Bening.
Annette Bening.
They wanted her to play Catwoman originally, and she couldn't do it, so Tim Burton asked Michelle Pfeiffer, and she jumped to it. But in that movie, Michael Keaton actually cut out his lines. He said Batman needs to talk less because he felt that Batman talked too much in the first one. But, again, great movies, and then they destroyed him. They destroyed him with the ridiculous Val Kilmer and George Clooney's. Then thankfully...
when Schwarzenegger is Mr. Freeze there.
Yeah. What did he say? Yeah. I forget, he had some stupid line in there.
No,
didn't
he-
he?
Do and call me in the morning. Something like that at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that. Was not a fan of that. I like the Michael Keaton ones.
Michael Keaton one's good. The first one was better because it's the Joker. And the dynamic, it's like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Batman and the Joker. There are other people, but at the end of the day...
Peanut butter and jelly.
So, yeah, peanut butter and jelly.
There you go.
Hamburger...
And the
bread.
Colonel.
And the Colonel, exactly. Well, the pizza and Colonel.
Anything in the Colonel. On the menu in the Colonel. Uh-oh, here we go.
Uh-oh.
But one, and then,
Okay. Yeah. Easy for you to say.
nope, not gonna. They don't forget, but back in the early series, they had a lot of great characters, though.
Like who? Who was your favorite character other than Batman and Robin?
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Yep.
Yeah, there was the Joker,
What about Egghead? Vincent Price.
King
I
Tut.
almost forgot about him. Wow, King Tut.
Yeah, remember King Tut? Big fat guy with all the
Now,
jewelry.
Sure I do.
Now, who was the guy that played Commissioner? What was the Commissioner's
In
name?
real life, I have no idea. Commissioner Gordon? I don't remember the guy who played him. It's a million years ago. No clue, Bull. I thought you would know. You were up on these things. You know all these people. Unbelievable down there. So rest in peace, Adam West, and of course, younger fans out there will remember him from The Family Guy.
That's right.
That's right.
The mayor of Quahog.
The mayor of Quahog.
Just think, he ain't going west no more. I bet he went south.
Oh,
He went down.
unbelievable. No pun intended there. But speaking of Adam West, everybody down here, we saw Adam West at Comic-Cons. Now, Jeff, recently, you, I, and the Colonel down there, if that's grammatically correct, attended the Connecticut Comic-Con down at Foxwoods Casino down there.
Oh, that was fun.
And it was a nice little Comic-Con down there. Had some interesting people there.
All right.
And
I'm a little upset, by the way, about something real quick.
what is that?
Because, I have friends down there. So I heard that you, Jeff,
Yes.
I heard the Colonel was there, but he wasn't doing much. But I heard you decided to get the VIP tables. All paid for. All VIP. You were down there having a good time. I heard you had the champagne, you had the tables, and you didn't call VC. TC didn't call VC to be
all right.
there.
The reason I didn't call you was, I don't know where you are half the time when you leave this podcast penthouse. I mean, you've been AWOL on the last episode. I mean, I said, you coming? I can't tell you where I am. All right. So, and that was only the day after, all right, of the podcast. So I had no idea where you were. Now we know where you were. You were secretly getting that Darth Vader tattoo, weren't you?
That Darth Vader came after what I was doing, but what I was doing allowed me to get this Darth Vader tattoo.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Unbelievable down there. So we met some big wigs down there. Well, big wigs to some people down there. And I know to you, one of your favorite movies of all time is The Beastmaster.
Oh, yeah. You sent me the picture, of course. Yeah.
And of course, Jeff, you needed the Beastmaster for your Beastmaster collection. We're talking about none other than the Beastmaster himself, Mark Singer. And there's his picture on the screen right now at South Boston, Jeff. He's a really down-to-earth dude. For me, he'll always be Mike Donovan on V. Remember that show?
Of course.
What,
Come on.
The aliens and whatnot that were eating rats and everything down there. Yeah, I always wanted to meet Mark Singer. Cool dude, awesome guy. And what makes him a celebrity stand out rather than these other scumbags that are just behind the thing, wanting money, he actually stopped, came around the counter, and shook your hand, but even if you were just walking by. And he was a cool dude. So Beastmaster, for those of you who don't know what Beastmaster is, Vinny, why don't you give us the plot line of the Beastmaster?
Okay. I'll give you the plot line. So what would you say? He was like a king, kind of? A king's baby is born. And there's Zed. Zed is this evil priest, doesn't want the child to be born, so he kills the king, has the child born from a goat thanks to these witches. Thought the child was dead. Child wasn't dead. Child gets raised, and then the Judd horde come.
The Juns.
And they kill his village. But what they don't realize is he has this affinity where he can communicate with animals.
It's like Dr. Doolittle?
Yeah, so then he meets this big black, as I call him, the guy from Good Times.
John Amos.
Yeah, who's walking around in a thong. And then the
gay
hottest
community sent him a lot of fan mail from that role and everything.
and the
strutting around.
hottest redhead to ever walk the planet.
Mary Lou Henner was in that movie?
No, come on.
Her name was
Tanya Roberts.
Tanya Roberts, thank you. And then another boy who's walking around in a thong, probably would have been like pedophile-ish. And long story short, they go back to the way he is the kingdom, and they wind up using these animals, and they killed this guy Zed. Zed is from
His name was Mayax, by the way.
Mayax. So I call him Zed because he's from whatchamacallit.
Police Academy?
No, no, he was from Men in Black.
Oh, of
He
course.
was Zed from Men in
You're
Black.
talking about Jeff's drinking buddy down
Yes.
there. The one and the only Jeff. Who was his name?
Rip Torn.
Rip Torn.
Rip Torn. Rip Torn.
All right. Okay. So, can I talk about Mark Singer for a while?
We're still getting the plot of the movie over here.
All right, finish.
And then, of course, one of the animals has to die. A ferret has to die in the movie.
Was it Poto or Kodo?
It was Poto, I think. Was it?
I was very upset when Poto died.
Yeah, Poto dies. And then the Jun horde come, and they killed the Jun horde off, and everyone lives happily ever after. But he goes off into the sunset.
So basically, this was kind of like a spoof in a way. Not a spoof, but a rip-off kind of Conan the Barbarian.
It was the family version of Conan the Barbarian.
Actually, I think it was the pre-version of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It was a lot closer to that because He-Man did have a big panther or a big tiger. He-Man
Battle
had
Cat.
and so did the Beastmaster.
What was his other name, though?
a Cringer.
Cringer, yes.
And you actually got the name of the cat from Mark Singer himself,
That's
Jeff.
right. I said, "Hey, what is the name of that? What was the name of that? Roo?" And he's like, "Roll the tongue a little, Roo." And I was like that, Roo. And he's like, "Yeah, you got it. You do that good." So, and also I said, like, when I said, "Hey, Mark, do you remember this guy? Because Rip Torn is oh yeah, I've met him for a while. He's like a old pal and everything." And I showed him a picture of me and Rip Torn, and we're laughing our asses off. He's like, "Yeah, that's Max. That's my old buddy. Yeah." And then 2 tables away, somebody said, "Let me see that picture." And it was that guy who played George's boss in Seinfeld. What was his?
The actor's name was Richard Hurd.
And he told me, yeah, I know Rip Torn too. We did Summer Rental together. And I'm like, well, wait a second, Summer Rental? You played Angus. And he's like, yeah. And we had a good laugh about that. I mean, all of us and everything. I mean, Rip Torn, Mark Singer, all good people.
Now we just got to be Tanya Roberts.
Yeah.
She's the only one. She's the only one from that movie we haven't met yet.
The one thing I'll give Mark Singer is he actually reprised his role, like, what was it, 20 years, 30 years later when they did the TV series.
But he was also in the wonderful sequel, Through the Portal of Time.
that was horrendous.
Wonderful
with what's her name there? Who's the chick that was
Carrie Warher.
Carrie
herself.
Warher. Remember her? She did
I love Carrie
She did a
Warren.
promo for the show, and she was completely shit-faced, and she was licking Jeff, me, and Signature Boy Donnie that
Why
night.
wasn't I there at that moment?
Because you never answer your phone, VC. When TC calls, VC should be listening out there. But yeah, also at this Comic-Con, on the screen right now, you Colonel Bull Montana, are none other now an honorary member of the Nasty Boys.
Correct. Brian Nods and
Jerry Sachs?
Jerry Sags.
Right, Jerry Saggs and Brian Knobs,
Yeah.
they actually were like, "Oh, hey, what's going on there,
Yeah,
Bull?" They couldn't
yeah.
believe you were there. Well, you met Jerry Saggs a couple months earlier
Yeah.
in Framingham,
Yeah.
but Brian Knobs, man, he was like, you were like best friends.
Yeah.
I mean, when was the last time you saw Brian Knobs?
The last time I seen Brian Nods was going way back at the Logan Airport Hotel there.
Oh, really?
At the Hilton.
Wow, that is going back a long time back there.
That's when WCW made their debut in the Gardens.
Okay, well, that's 20 years ago, man.
Yeah.
That is a long time ago. But the picture that's still on the screen, there it is right there, all in your glory. What a great 6-man tag team you would be. You definitely are a nasty boy.
Mr. Capelli, there was some gentleman over there that told me to say hi to you, too.
Who was it?
And it happened to be the gentleman from the Wizard of Oz was there.
No, Bull. No.
Not the Wizard of Oz.
Everybody from the Wizard of Oz is dead.
From the Addams Family?
Are you talking about Cousin It?
Cousin It.
Okay. You know who Cousin It is, Evan?
Yeah, I know.
He played Tweaky on Buck
Yeah,
Rogers.
yeah,
His name is Felix Silla.
And he comes up to about Colonel's thumb. I mean, not even your thumb, your big toe. That's how big he is. Real nice dude. Born in Italy. He's like 80-something years old.
Yeah.
Wasn't enough guy.
What did he say, Bull? Did he say hello at least?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, we had a little
You-
we had a little fun.
There's a picture right there of Bull and Cousin It on the screen
We
right
had a
now.
little fun.
That would,
A little, no pun intended, little.
that picture that was taken, I believe it was that in Boston where we took
I don't
that?
don't remember where it was. You really need to know the geographic location
No,
where this
correct,
picture took
should be
place.
said. That was in Wilmington.
Wilmington. Okay,
Yep.
great. Whatever.
So we can't forget to bring up the fact that I met a member of Star Wars. Yes, someone from the Star Wars cast. And you will never guess who I met, Vinny Capelli, and he was from the cast,
The original cast?
from the original cast, or Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yes, I know.
He appeared in Return of the Jedi.
He appeared in Return of the Jedi.
Okay. His face was never seen. The actor's face was never seen. If that gives a little hint to you. All right. His mentor, if this character had a mentor, would be Elton John and Billy Joel and Liberace.
Oh, Anthony Daniels.
No, I'm not going that way. I'm talking talking about the instrument that they play.
Okay, I'm gonna give.
Oh, the guy from the band there.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Max
Yeah.
Rebo.
Max Rebo.
How'd you guess that so quick? Damn, I thought I had you stumped.
I have no idea who the actor's name is, and is it really relevant?
No.
The
But
guy
it's,
who
it's cool. Yeah, I actually got the guy who Max Rebo, the blue keyboard player in the Cy Snoodles band, and that's the second member. That's the second member of that band. I've also met Droopy McCool. The actor's name is Deep Roy. He's a small I don't know what
a midget.
I don't know what nationality he is.
He's from India. He's from India.
He's from India, but he's great. He's been in all kind. He played every single Oompa Loompa in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory remake.
Right. He also. You ever see the?
Well, yeah, he's in the new Transform. It was in one of the Transformer movies.
You ever see the Never-Ending Story?
Yes.
Remember the snail rider?
Yes.
That's who this dude is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those who are out there, the big wigs on Jeff's list that he was talking about that he's met in the past few years. Also down there, we met none other than one of the coolest dudes of all time, Robert Ramos, a.k.a. Mike Damone from Fast Times at Ridgemont.
No, you
High.
didn't.
Oh, this is like the
Yes,
third or
nice.
fourth time we met him.
Yeah,
I had to
he's
get his
one of my
autograph for
mentors.
my friend of mine, Andy, who lives
Was,
up in Canada. She loves Fast Times.
Was
And
Phoebe Cates there?
if Phoebe Cates was there, I'd still be there right now.
Okay.
No, but he's a cool dude. He has a Boston connection. His mother grew up in Boston.
Very nice.
There you go. So Mike Damone's mother grew up in Boston down there. Colonel, what do you think about meeting Mike Damone?
Mike Damone was a very nice gentleman to meet.
He was.
Yes, he was.
How many times have you seen the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
I've seen it about 13 times.
About 13 times, huh?
Yes.
Wow. Now, what was your favorite scene in Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
The favorite scene, I forget because that's a long time ago.
Okay,
But
you've
what
seen
I-
the
yeah, he forgets all right.
Okay, you've seen the movie 13 times,
Yes.
but you forget your favorite scene in the movie down there. You never saw this movie, did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what was it about?
It was the kid driving a car to the school and all that.
Well, that's something like
Okay,
that.
okay,
and
yeah, okay,
everything.
that's
There
not
were
the-
character Jeff Spicoli. There was the pot smoking hippie guy. And
You want to see this movie, Colonel?
No, I know, but I heard of it and all that.
Okay, you've seen it 13 times.
He heard of it 13 times.
You heard of it 13 times down there. Okay, you know what? You are a unique individual down there.
But yeah, Robert Romanos this was my second time meeting Robert, good old Mike Damone and everything. And I always bring up to him that I scalped tickets myself because it is a true story. Back in the back when I was a teenager, that's how I cut my that's how I filled my scalping tickets over at Boston Garden, over at Fenway Park, and he was just like, yeah, well, I hope it made you a lot of money. But he's always suave. He's a very suave guy and everything.
He's Mike Damone.
Yeah.
Your favorite scene in the movie, Vinny, which I'm sure you've seen it more than 13
Do I
times.
need to even say it?
It's got to be the scene where I hope you had a hell of a piss, Arnold. No, I don't think so. No, that's not it.
Two favorite scenes for me.
I'm not asking you yet, Chad. I'm still working on Vinny Capelli.
Let's just say it involves a female. That her name was just recently mentioned.
Phoebe.
Phoebe Cates.
Right. What about Jennifer Jason Leigh?
And she ain't no Phoebe Cates.
She's definitely not a Phoebe
But that
Cates.
was my favorite.
But,
yeah.
Nobody puts Phoebe in the
but she
corner.
showed everything. Phoebe Cates didn't show everything, though.
Yeah, this is true. Jennifer Jason Leigh still does nothing for me, but Phoebe Cates, yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Let me rephrase this question here. Other than the Phoebe Cates scene in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which I wore out on my VHS. I mean, when you watch the movie, remember the tracking on VHSs? The
Yes.
tracking would be off on that scene because it was paused, rewound, about 100 gazillion times. Okay. Other than the Fast Times at Ridgemont High Phoebe Cates scene, what is your favorite part in that movie?
It's the scene where Spicoli is the teacher are going at it with each other in the classroom. I forget that.
Mr. Hand.
Yes, Mr. Hand.
Ray Walston.
Yes. That is one of my favorite. That is probably one of the most iconic scenes is just like
You dick.
yeah. That's about it for me.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jeff, your favorite scenes in Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Well, we just had the argument of what my favorite scene, because I do think the nudie scene from Jennifer Jason Leigh was better. Was a little better than
Which
the
one? She did 2 nude scenes in that one.
Well, the one when they were playing somebody's girl.
They did that in both scenes, too.
Okay, you're right. All right, the inside the cabana, inside the
Okay,
boathouse,
the
when
mic-
they stripped, and after he blew his nut. Okay, like after he blew his nut,
So-
and she was just lying there and everything in the nude and everything.
Where Damone goes,
I
Stacy,
gotta go,
Stacy, I really gotta go.
I really gotta go. And,
Bye.
and you want to say, why? Get back on that. But all right, that besides that, my favorite scene is, of course, the end and everything when he's holding up the store, and then the robber comes in. Now, what? The safe behind the donuts. And then he gets the coffee thrown in his face. But every one of Spicoli's scenes were golden, like his dream sequence when he was on the news for his surfing.
Oh yeah.
Where'd you get this jacket?
Where did you get this jacket?
Now, getting back to the guy who held up the mini mart at the end of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, he later went on to play. Remember the guy in the beginning of Beverly Hills Cop that was Eddie Murphy's friend that got capped, Mikey Tandino?
Oh, yeah. I remember another movie he did where he played the rapist. Farrah Fawcett made this movie called Extremities. She was a little older when she did it and everything, and she gets stalked by a rapist and everything, and then she gets trapped by the rapist gets caught and trapped by her 4 roommates, but the rapist was gallantly played by that actor. I don't know his name. Mike something?
I think it's James Russo.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah. He's not a bad actor and everything, but like when that movie came out and everything, all the girls was like, "Oh, I wouldn't mind getting raped by that guy," because he was a kind of a heartthrob and everything.
Okay, Jeff has gone a little bye here. You know, the little interesting thing about Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you know how many Academy Award winners have come out of that movie?
Sean Penn.
Sean Penn, Forrest Whitaker.
We know Judd Nelson did win one.
Judd Nelson wasn't in that movie.
No, not Judd.
Nicolas
sorry.
Cage.
No, it was Judd Reinhold.
Nicolas Cage also.
Oh, that's right, Nicolas Cage.
Nicholas,
yeah.
that was his very first movie. He was listed as Nicholas Coppola, his real name. Nephew of Francis Ford Coppola in there. Unbelievable. That has spawned a bazillion celebrities that went on to do bigger and better things. But you know what? Nothing will top their career other than Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I mean, everybody on the planet, even Colonel has supposedly seen it 13 times but doesn't remember any scenes from it down there. Colonel.
Maybe he bought some of that stuff off Spicoli.
Doesn't that stuff cause brain damage?
No, don't cause that.
Okay. Okay, as long as you know what's going on down there.
Have you seen Boomerang Chastain lately? They're talking about brain damage.
Speaking of you got brain damage there, buddy.
Oh, calm down, Colonel, down there. I mean, what gets you all upset down here? You talk about a movie that you said you saw 13 times and you never saw it, and we called you out on it. Now you're all pissy about it. Why?
I did see it, but I forget.
Okay, you forgot it.
I get the same problem as someone else I know.
You've been hitting too many heads. You are a nasty boy now. You've probably been hitting the head too many times with a chair.
I got a question for Bull. Bull, would you bring Brian Knobs and Jerry Sags to your old age home that you're doing community work in? Would you actually bring those two there?
Yes, I would. I would take them on a tour through there.
Would you tell them to take a shower first? Because the last time I saw Knobs, my God, he stunk like friggin' like there's no tomorrow. Did he at least shower?
Not anymore, but he cleaned up.
He cleaned up his act, huh?
Yeah.
Now, the last and final celebrity we met at the Connecticut Comic-Con was none other than Ric Flair. Unbelievable. Now, Jeff, this was the first time you actually got your picture taken with Ric Flair.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at earlier. Sorry when you were talking about Jerry the King Lawler and everything. I was a little, that got me going and everything. But I was talking about Ric Flair. He did, he was charging $50 for a selfie.
For a selfie. Now, I understand,
Wait, that you took with your own phone?
Yes, exactly. It was my phone, actually. And the picture has been on the screen right there. There he is, Ric Flair, all 67 years old. I mean, you and me, Vinny Capelli and Colonel Bill Montana down there, have connections to the world of professional wrestling and have for 2 decades, in Colonel's case, is longer than that. And Ric Flair will always be the world heavyweight champion in my eyes, NWA world heavyweight champion. But he's tarnished his legacy in my book a little bit. I mean, granted, he's been married 4 times and he has to pay all that alimony. The fact that he's charging $50 for a selfie at a
And
Comic-Con.
I would have got out of line, said $50. Are you shitting me? Yeah, you know that's what I say. But but you were with me and everything. He had a dickhead running the line and everything. He said, get in that line. So I got in the line. He's like, no, you got in the wrong line. Get in that. I had to walk all the way around and everything to get back to the same spot. He was just being a dickhead, and I was flustered.
And it wasn't like there was many people in his line.
And then after and he didn't tell you about, and I, my eyes are pretty bad. I didn't find out about the $50 until after the selfie. I was like, what? Oh, whatever.
50 friggin' dollars. Flair is charging $50. Are you shitting me?
No, it was $50.
That's crazy.
See,
man.
I was fortunate enough, thanks to Colonel Bull Montana down there 20 years ago, when we actually partied with Ric Flair in Hartford, Connecticut. We got pictures for free.
Oh, and Miss Elizabeth was there. I'm jealous as a rat for that one.
Well, she ain't going to be on any Comic-Cons anytime soon.
I want to get back to that story.
Okay.
And there was another lady that me and you did. She's both upstairs with
Nancy?
Okay, woman.
Nancy,
Yeah, okay. We talked about this before down there. But what these people charge now is ridiculous at these Comic-Cons.
Well, we had this conversation before. Remember a couple podcasts ago we talked about this, and the pricing is just ridiculous. I mean, Ric Flair for $50. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. We've been around a long time. I understand a fan, if he was still wrestling and he was prime time, $50, yeah. Like if that's Stone Cold Steve Austin might be worth the $50 thing.
We got Stone Cold for free at the hotel.
But I mean, like friggin' $50 for a guy who hasn't wrestled in probably 10 years, who hasn't had a real match in 10 years, and a guy that you see once in a blue moon on WWE television. I mean, come on.
Well, like
$50.
Yeah, and I originally got in line. I said I need his autograph. I wanted it on an 8x10 glossy to add to my collection. But I got up there and I seen that was $80 for an 8x10 autograph.
It was ridiculous.
I'd pay $50 for Howard the Duck before I pay for Ric Flair.
Well, Howard the Duck slept with Leah Thompson, so
That's why I paid $50. I'm like, can I smell your fingers?
or his feathers.
Feathers.
Unbelievable. It's ridiculous. I mean, God bless Ric Flair. The guy's been an entertainer, but from what I heard from other people that I know in the convention world, he's not the most pleasant guy to deal with because he's not drinking anymore.
Yeah, that's
so
part of the
he's
problem.
sober. So when we met him, he was the kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, Long Island iced tea drinking Ric Flair.
goes way back with him.
Oh, of course he does.
Can't
Bull
even
goes back to him like way before we did, and it just, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous down there. Now, what is the most you would pay for a celebrity autograph, and who would it be?
Well, I just said I'd pay $50 for Howard the Duck, but that's because I know I probably would never meet Howard the Duck himself.
Well, actually, you can't. He does do conventions.
Honestly, I think I personally don't see more than $20 for a picture. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous.
Pictures should be free. When we started doing this, Jeff, 20 years ago, celebrity autographs were, maybe $15, $20, and the pictures were free because this is before Facebook and all this other junk.
And let me put it to you this way. Here's the thing. The WWE does it right. When they do their fan experience, you pay like $50 a person, but you get to go around. You get to meet numerous stars, take pictures with all these stars. You're only paying $5 for the picture.
Imagine if they had that when we were kids.
Well, they used to. They had Bobby the Brain Heaton and Paul Orndorff at a video store.
Okay, but I'm saying, imagine if they had
you're right.
all the legends that would have been
when
there.
we were kids, it was still kayfabe.
It doesn't matter. I met all these people at hotels and whatnot.
Bull knows how kayfabe was at 20 years ago versus now. But I'd say I'd pay no more than $30. It would probably be for Tracy Lords.
Oh, you can get that for a lot less than that
yeah,
now.
that was the one that got me started. Like I am in love with Tracy myself and everything, and I remember I could not. That's what made me go to New York and everything. I missed the bus for the very first time I went to New York for my very first celebrity stalking experience. It was all for Tracy Lords, but I understand your obsession.
You even crashed a party with Tracy Lords and Steve Guttenberg a couple years back.
Oh yeah, you can't. It's tough to keep me away from
mean
her
Murphy?
when she's out. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Murphy.
Mahomo. I mean Mahoney.
Steve
Mahoney.
Guttenberg.
So Mahoney. not
Peter
Murphy.
Weller
Yeah.
is Murphy.
Right, that's right. And the other person I'd have to say would be, there'd be two. It would be Tracy Lords, and oh god, I'd probably pay $30 for Johnny Depp.
Really? Even though he wants the president assassinated?
Yeah, I could care less.
Okay, really? Johnny
could care
Johnny
less.
Depp is actually a cool guy when he's not doing his political bullshit. I met him. Real down-to-earth dude. Not a bad guy. Colonel,
I think I could party with him.
who would you pay money for an autograph? Whose autograph would you pay big money for that you don't already have?
Probably the President of the United States.
Donald Trump.
No, I mean,
Well, he doesn't need that now because you've been appointed the
barbecue secretary.
barbecue
You can just call him on your cell phone. I mean, other than him, who? You can't say yourself either because you don't have $50.
probably.
Would it be someone from your favorite movie, Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
No.
Okay.
Would probably be one of the greatest baseball players that just retired. That they're going to retire a uniform
Tonight.
at Fenway Park.
Who's that?
tonight.
David Ortiz.
Oh, really? David Ortiz. You would pay him big money, David Ortiz.
Yes.
Okay. All right, there you go. I know you're a big sports fan down there.
That's what all the traffic is over there, you know. Tonight, as we're recording this podcast, they're actually retiring his number down. You know, if you look when you look down
I know where it is. It's
Yeah.
around the corner from the Sitco side.
Yes,
there
I
it
know.
is down there. Jeff, you've probably have everybody's autograph on the planet, but who would you pay $50 for that you don't already have?
I would pay 100, maybe 200 for Jennifer Aniston.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, yeah,
You want to
she's
be
a
her
tough
friend, huh?
I want to be more than a friend.
You like her. I think you actually like her from the movie
50
Leprechaun,
years
right?
old and she's still smoking hot.
Yeah, like anything she did, like if you want to, Leprechaun was her very first movie. She was kind of hot in that and everything, and
She's actually gotten better with age.
she has and everything. And Brad Pitt is just a fool leaving her for a douchebag like Angelina Jolie. I mean, that's all I got to say. I know there are some people that may be really hot, that were really hot for Angelina Jolie in her prime. But now look at Brad Pitt's life, having to pay child support for a bunch of Rugrat kids that she adopted from around the world. Now,
Talking to the microphone, Jeff, so we can hear you.
yeah. Well,
I know you can't see because a tire blew up in your face earlier this week.
but Brad Pitt, I was just saying how much he's bumming now with Angelina Jolie and all those Rugrat kids that she adopted from around the world and everything. Well, what the hell? What a fool he is and everything. And I never thought he was such a great actor. And I mean, the movie Seven was the only thing I liked Brad Pitt in. But,
Fight Club.
Fight Club
Interview
was
with a
okay,
Vampire.
And,
That was kind of too.
Oh, I like that. That was a good movie.
That was wussy. Yeah,
Wait.
Glorious Bastards.
Glorious Bastards,
Yeah,
Fury.
He was good. But,
Fury sucked. That tank.
You didn't
one?
like the Fury?
No.
Oh.
And what's his name?
Hey,
in it?
wasn't he also he was in that movie where he was the stoner on the couch?
Jeff should know that one.
He played a stoner on the couch, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, what's his face there?
I don't know.
What the hell's his name? The kid from he was in Robin Hood. He was an 80s actor. I can't even think of his name. He's like, he was in Mr. Robot. He was the guy in Mr. Robot. What the hell's his name? Christian Slater.
Christian Slater. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Remember that movie? Was it Californication or something like that?
I remember my favorite Christian.
Oh, with Juliette Lewis?
Yes, and he's the
California
stoner on the
with
couch.
the K. California with the K.
Yes.
Yeah, he played kind of a southern stoner type.
Yes.
And everything.
My favorite Christian
Okay, I forgot about that
Christian
one.
Slater movie is Pump Up the Volume.
Pump up the yeah, that was a great movie.
He was like the original podcaster.
yeah, he was.
Unbelievable down there. There isn't anybody I think I would pay $50 for an autograph.
Oh, I know
for.
there's one.
Who?
There is one.
Go ahead.
If you didn't have it already, Leah Thompson.
See,
If you didn't
if
have
I
it
didn't
already.
have it, probably. But I'm.
Probably nothing.
But it's weird. I've
You
met.
wouldn't pay $50 for the woman who played Ray in the new one? Or?
Okay, yeah, you're right. I would pay $50 to Daisy Ridley.
Okay.
All right, definitely. I mean, I think she's the most adorable thing that ever came down the pike in the Star Wars
Absolutely.
galaxy. Unbelievable down there. I
But
can't.
what was the name of the woman that was in the Force, not the Force Awakens, that was in the latest one?
Oh, you mean Jen Erso there?
Jen Erso.
Felicity Jones.
See, I don't think
Oh,
she's as
boy.
good looking as Daisy.
She's
Well-
not. She's attractive in a different way?
Well, yes.
It's the
You know what I
accent.
get to say about her? She has, I've never seen a woman with more hope in her eyes. Her eyes are loaded with hope and everything.
She had no hope. In case you haven't seen Rogue One, she dies.
That's why it's called A New Hope.
Right, she has no hope anymore.
part
She had
4.
no hope at all. Unbelievable there. But you know what? We're wrapping the program up here. This is the first podcast that we didn't go to a big-time commercial break.
I know.
Unbelievable there. Let's give some shout-outs down there. Colonel Bull Montana, who do you want to shout out to down there?
I'd like to wish my friend Nancy Williams. She's home. She's just covering for Nancy. Nancy, we love you.
How do you know Nancy Williams?
Nancy Williams is she's a director at the Winthrop Senior Center.
Okay, that's where you're working now down
Yes.
there. Unbelievable. So a big shout-out to Nancy Williams down there. Vinny Capelli, big shout-out.
Big shout out going to my daughter who loves soccer and plays. Big shout out going to her club coach, Nick Padovani with FC Padova. This coming weekend, I am actually participating in a cancer walk as part of his team. He is a survivor of cancer. So my shout out goes to him and everybody who will be walking in the cancer walk.
Unbelievable down there. South Boston Jazz, some shout-outs into the microphone.
Well, I don't really have any shout-outs and everything. What the hell am I going to give? A shout-out to my drug dealer? A shout-out to my bookie? All right.
To who?
A shout-out to my bookie? A shout-out to my
Okay.
drug dealer?
Hey, he
stuff
can give
like
a shout
that.
out to Goodyear.
Yeah.
Yes, I go. Yeah. A shout out. Thanks a lot. Good year. I mean, I want to say hi to the Geek Force and hi to everybody and hi to all our listeners and just say thanks a lot and keep listening. You know,
Unbelievable.
God
Bull's
bless you.
son.
We'll talk about that, but I want to give a shout-out there to my dear, long-time, close personal friend. We all love her on the program, Whitney Wickham, who just gave birth to her, I believe it's her third child out there. Let's big round of
Ooh,
applause
that's
out there. The youngest Padawan in the
You mean Sith Lord?
in the or the Sith Lord in the Whitney Wickham line out there, and Godspeed you out there, Whit. Colonel, what were you saying before? Were you going to interrupt me?
I'd like to also say hello to. I wonder how is how is my brother? Have you talked to my brother?
I don't know who your brother is, but I know who your son
I
is.
mean, have you talked to
You've
my
really
son?
been hit on the head,
I mean,
really a lot.
I'd like to also say hey to the couch party out
the
there.
couch party out there.
Yeah.
Well, you did have that party on that couch 30-some-odd years ago for your son, the Bulldog, out there. From what I heard from my good friend Macho Matt out there, the Bulldog's doing good out there. He wants to see you sometime before the end of the year. Now, he's your brother. Colonel, how long are you, before the show, before you come up to the Podhouse Penthouse, I'm talking like you, the podcast Penthouse, did you have a little medicine, a little sheiky medicine with Jeff?
No.
Jeff, did he have a little sheiky medicine
When?
before the show?
If he doesn't feel like talking about it, he shouldn't talk
So
about
you
it.
would-
I was smoking it, and I passed it.
So
to the
that's a
left.
yes.
So you weren't doing the Zaba Zaba?
No, you weren't doing
You
this.
know me. I can't. I just had an accident. I can't see. I don't know who I passed it to.
I think that's true. You could have been Vinny Cabelli's daughter, for all we know. Unbelievable. Okay, so we're going to wrap the show up. Hopefully, we'll have another show after the 4th of July. Big 4th of July coming up in a couple of weeks, Colonel. What are you going to blow up? You going to blow anything up?
No, I'm not going to blow nothing up.
Yeah? You're blowing up tonight for some reason. You're thinking your
I'm
son
not.
is your brother.
I've been working. Tell me, I'll tell you what the problem is. It's me working with the patients like my mother got. My mother's got a little bit of the old time.
She's got Alzheimer's out there. We pray for her every night because if there wasn't her, you wouldn't be here right now. But I'm telling you, you left the room with the Nasty Boys a couple weeks ago. You were gone for a good hour and a half.
I did not leave the room.
Oh, Jeff, didn't he leave with the Nasty Boys for a while? We didn't see him.
Yeah, and everything.
Don't
We were
lie.
just-
You want to know who I was hanging around with?
Red
What?
Velvet.
Who?
No.
Who?
The girl that Mr. Quincy's girlfriend.
Okay, you were hanging with Tawny Kitaen.
No, I was keeping an eye on
Oh, you were keeping on what?
people.
Oh, yeah, did you pretend to be Nick the Dick with Tawny Kitaen?
No.
Oh, look at the way he lies and the
Yeah,
beads
well,
of
you're
sweat
keeping an
coming
eye
down.
on her big fat
the
ass.
shit-eating grin on his
because,
face.
Tawny Kitaen's big fat ass was all over that convention.
Colonel, what? Seriously, we're putting you over here, and you're denying that you're having a relationship or did something with Tawny Kitaen. You should be proud of that. She was the White Snake chick. And you and the Nasty Boys left for a while. Don't lie.
Yeah, and you can make old Quincy jealous as hell.
So why do you lie all these times? What are you lying about?
I did not go nowhere. I did not go there with my buddy Brian.
Oh, well, of course you did.
No, I did not. I was strolling by myself. See what other celebrities.
Colonel,
Trust me.
Don't lie.
I did not.
Because Steve Tippenos saw you. I went up to him. I go, "Have you seen Colonel Bull Montana?" He went, I think he left with the two wrestlers there. So don't lie.
Hey, the colonel let in on a little something. Think about what he said. I did not go nowhere with my friend Brian Knobs.
So you went with Jerry Saggs.
So he went with Jerry.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Maybe we'll just have to get the security camera footage from Foxwoods Casino because we know people down there because of our connections with the Vegas hotels. Don't lie, Colonel. Just admit it right here. I mean, don't pull a Bill Cosby down there. Where did you go with the Nasty Boys and Tawny Kitaen? Come on, the world wants to know. Talk into the microphone for the 9,000th time this episode.
I didn't. I just took a walk with them. That's it.
Oh, a walk? Is that what you're calling it these days?
But he wasn't with them.
But you weren't with them. You weren't with them, and you saw Fast Times at Ridgemont High 13 times, and you don't know your favorite scene in the movie.
He's hiding something.
You're definitely hiding something, Colonel.
I'm not hiding something.
Oh, yes, you are.
You know what? Maybe on the next show we figure out what it is.
You know what? We can call. I can. Tawny Kitaen is on Twitter, which you can follow us at After Hours TC. Maybe I'll just have to send her a direct message and say, "What were you doing with the Colonel and the Nasty Boys down at the Connecticut Comic-Con 2 weeks ago?"
And he hasn't been the same since, huh?
Yeah.
No, I've been the same.
No, you haven't, Colonel.
I've been quiet. I gotta. I don't want to suffer a stroke, but I gotta relax myself. Okay.
A stroke. Yeah. Okay. On that note, all right. Well, we'll let this fester.
I wouldn't mind getting a stroke from Tawny Kitaen.
No,
back in the 80s.
I'm not. My age, I could probably have a stroke.
Colonel, you're healthier than all of us down here. If you don't want to talk about it, just say you don't want to talk about it. What was that little sigh?
Though, hey, he's old school. Look, the Colonel taught me a lot of things when I was a kid, and he taught me one thing you don't do. Don't tell him your business. Obviously it's something because we'll talk off air about what I was doing and why I missed last show, but I guess I can understand where the Colonel's coming from. Something must have happened, and he's just not going to talk about it.
But, Colonel, you are a celebrity. You're the biggest star on this program. I'm not ashamed to admit that because I know that. You are the fawns of this program. Now, you did something.
Now I want to bring a point.
Okay.
We should get a booth at one of those shows and sell our pictures.
Okay. I don't disagree. But when you wander away with Tawny Kitaen or whoever else is at these conventions, you're not going to make any money that way.
I want a picture of Tawny Kitaen.
Plus, you're leaving us hanging.
Yeah. You left us hanging, Colonel. We were looking around for you, and like I said,
and you're not just that. You're leaving us hanging with the stories. I mean, like
right.
Here's this fine piece of ass. All right, her ass is kind of big these days, but I'd still throw it in.
So you and Tawny Kitaen have something going. I mean, O.J. Simpson's been up there. Now Colonel Montana. If the rubber fits, you must have quit. I mean, come on.
First she had the juice, now she has the bull.
All right. Come on. Now, Colonel, I mean, all the power to you, man. We love you down here. You score more than most of us down here, with Jamaicans and 500-pound cab drivers. But what's the dealio? I mean, your son could be listening to this right now. What kind of a role model are you? You're not spilling the beans on what happened at the Connecticut Comic-Con. Was it Tawny Kitaen, or was it that other girl dressed up as the Mad Hatter?
Mad Hatter.
Okay. I don't even want to talk about that, ladies and gentlemen out there. All right.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Well, you know what, Colonel? So we're gonna have to get back to this on our next podcast down there. We'll find out. We can find out anything, Colonel. You are a big-time celebrity. These celebrities like to talk. We'll probably see you on TMZ sometime soon.
I want to make it on there.
Well, then talk about what you did with Tawny Kitaen, and it could be a story on TMZ.
No, I did. I just want to walk by her. That's it.
You walk it on by. Bump, 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 bump. All right. And on that note, we're going to wrap up this show. And this is the After Hours of TC Restani, the podcast. For all of our fans out there, you can follow us on Twitter at After Hours TC or visit our YouTube page, youtube.com/AfterHoursTC. Our television show is coming back sometime before September. As a matter of fact, they're building the set as we speak in our studio down the hall from the podcast penthouse. And for all the friends I talk to on Twitter all the time, much appreciated. And this is After Hours, and we what?
We
We
Never close.